we're good. All right, excellent. All right. Apparently we had an internet glitch. The internet live stream went down. I'm not seeing it here on my feed, Al. I'm going to check again. Got my tech guy working on this. Apologize to all of you who maybe were on the live stream and it kind of kicked off here. I'm going to check and see if we're back on again. Hopefully we are. I don't see it on. I don't. Here we go. Okay, it looks like we're back on here. All right. So sorry about that, everyone. We had a glitch over here. I'm going to try to share this again. As I wanted to start this watch party back up, so I'm going to try to do that again. Thank you all for your patience this morning. Technology, the beauty of technology, it's so great, and it's also can be a challenge at times. Looks like we're back on here. And all right, so where we were, I want to go back to where we left off. Well, I'm going to give everybody a chance to come back on. Hopefully we get some people coming back on. All right, great. We had a little bit of technical glitch. I don't know if it was a power surge or something that happened here, but we are back on. So we've been talking about taking a fresh start this morning, and I was giving the example. This is part 2, by the way. There's going to be 2 videos here. Winston Churchill once said that he who fails to plan plans to fail. And the truth is, we need God's plan. If we're going to determine what our next steps are and we want to move forward with the least amount of pain, frustration, and cost, then it's probably wise to connect with someone who can help you do that. And that's what I love to do. As a matter of fact, I was sharing a little bit about a story of someone that I was helping previously. There was another person who came to me who was a part of a certain organization, and they were in leadership in that organization. They had other people that they were responsible for in that organization, and yet they kind of felt like the visions were very different. And so, we've heard that where there's more than one vision, you have division. And that's not a really good way to move forward in anything. We don't want to have division. We want unity. And so this person came to me kind of desperate on how do I make this decision? My decision affects so many people. And the truth is that's true for most of us. Making the hard decisions when you know that it could affect somebody else in potentially in a negative way, that's a big responsibility. That can make the weight feel pretty heavy on us. And this is why I take people through the process of figuring out not actually figuring out, but discovering what God's plan is for you in this particular time of your life, because we all have different seasons. All right, and so whatever we're doing, it says in Proverbs 16:3 that commit your works to the Lord, and your plans will be established, or He will establish your plans or guide your steps. And that's what we need to do. And sometimes you can't do that alone. And it says in Proverbs 16:9, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. So if we think about building anything, changing anything, if we're building a house, for instance, maybe putting together, some of those IKEA things. They should pay me for that ad, but assembling furniture. I had to do that in my office. I have this huge wall unit, which is actually 4 separate wall units. And I had to put them together, and then I had to connect them together to make this big wall unit. First time I ever did it. Why am I telling you that? Because there's usually instructions and plans to follow whenever we're trying to put something together. If you've ever tried to build a house without having somebody do blueprints, and if you didn't follow those blueprints, even if one wall was off, guess what? It's not gonna stand too well. We're gonna have some problems, and structural problems are the worst. When you have the foundation that's good, then usually you can build well on it. But if your foundation's sand, we call that sinking sand, and so that can't be good in the long run. Okay, so if we think about the money that we spend on, say, an architect, to do these plans and do a good job for every dream to have for every detail that you could have your dream house. Okay, we're either going to do it that way, or we're going to end up with whatever somebody else's dream plans were. And that's the choices before us every day. Am I going to have my plans, or am I going to do somebody else's plans, what people think? And we've done shows about that before. But today, talking about taking a fresh start, it's all about where am I now, where do I want to go, and how do I bridge that gap? I need clarity on how to do that. And it's going to be based on who you are, what your goals are, what your dreams are, what your situation is, what your financial level is, what your abilities are, your skills. There's so many factors that come into it. So there's no embarrassment in reaching out to someone who could sit there and strategize with you, and to be able to assess those things for you in a way that you can actually look at. I actually assess people where they can look at like a picture once we fill it in to see a snapshot of where they are. And I have not done it with anyone who hasn't went, wow, that's amazing to be able to see that snapshot of where I am like that. Because now as we're talking, it's more than just an exchange of ideas. Now it's clear that that spot or this area needs more attention. And this one, maybe I'm spending too much time over here. And to find, I hate saying this, but to find the balance, I guess you could say, the better way to say it is to learn how to have a smoother rolling path, I guess you could say. So envision with me this, okay? Like we were talking about. If you have a dream home and your life is like a dream home, you're building a life. And you decide where is it going to be? What's the location? Where do you want to be? What do you want? That's the main question. What does it look like? How many rooms? What are the colors? How many bathrooms? Do you have a yard? What neighborhood? Ideal furnishings, all the details. Anyone can build a house, but it takes intentionality, strategy, and wisdom to make a home. And why am I saying that? This is a good example of when we need a fresh start. Home is where you hang your hat. Home is your soft place to fall. Home is where you're satisfied. It's fulfillment of the rewards of the work that you do. It's that place, right? So a lot of people feel like I'm going to go out and I'm going to run the race and I'm going to work and I'm going to do these hard things and then I can go home and rest. What if your life could be the rest? Okay, think about that. I got to take a very short break, but think about that. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about it a little bit more because that's where we're going. We'll be right back. Support those who support us and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mark Major knows that great coaches need constant training to be effective. As a certified coach, teacher, and speaker with the John Maxwell team, Mark can help you identify and activate your personal and professional goals. If you seek to do more and be more, look up Mark on the web at johnmaxwellgroup.com/MARC-major or call 603-674-6818. Mark Major, growing leaders and adding value.
Hi, this is Lynn Greene, Advancement Strategist and Coach Trainer at alphaadvancementstrategies.com. Join me Mondays at 9 a.m. where I'll talk about ways to help keep you moving forward in life. Only on In It Together with Lynn Greene.
Hi, I'm Jen Lever, anchor of the Recovery Now segments. Join me Tuesdays at 9 a.m. where I offer support to families struggling with addiction. Hear personal stories, learn the signs of addiction, and get help for your loved ones. Only on In It Together with Lynn Greene.
Welcome back to In It Together. We are in the midst of the good life talking about having a fresh start. And I've been trying to give some analogies, but this we had a little bit of a glitch in the internet and whatever. The power went down and we had to restart. And that's okay. You can go back to part one later on. But here's what I was saying before we went on the break is that, your home or your place where you live is where you're supposed to be able to rest after you work and all that stuff. But there's a way that you can actually live in that rest. And it takes wisdom, it takes knowledge applied. Wisdom is knowledge applied. People think they know things. I don't know how many times I've had clients with, like, you tell them something, it's like, yeah, I know. You can know it, but are you living it? And that's the question. I think that most of us, we know things, but we don't always do what we know. I heard a quote once that said, most people know what to do, but they don't do what they know. So knowledge alone won't get us results. We need wisdom and we need to take action, but I think people get paralyzed with where they're going to take that action. So it's, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Isaac Newton said in his third law of motion. I'm not a physics genius, but I translate this to mean in layman's terms, the size and force that we move forward will equal the results we see in our life. And so a lot of people will stay in that stuck limbo in between a rock and a hard place, between where I don't want to be and where I need to go, because they don't know how to do it. Now, I used to be one of those people. So, and that's why I guess you could say I decided to be the change that I needed at one time in my life. And so I'm passionate about helping people like that, because I'm sure there's a lot more people just like me. They feel like they can't navigate it, right? And so I had to learn a very hard way, but I learned. And so all my mistakes became lessons. Every obstacle became an opportunity. When that happens, you're really living in the rest, and you're learning how to navigate better. And so I'm kind of going to go look at, there are some things that I've offered here. There's workshops that I give from time to time. But think about this. If you were able to have a realistic snapshot of the areas of your life that need adjusting, there's always things pulling at us. We have to face the facts that if we're going to do anything, we need to get our life in order first. And so the assessments that I do help us to see what things are off kilter. Now, I'm not saying these are intentional things. A lot of times they're not. Life happens. You're busy doing things. You got a lot going on. And so this gets neglected and that gets neglected. And before you know it, you're forgetting even what you forgot. And then all of a sudden, oh no, the light bill's off. I'm giving just a silly example. But that's how some people go through life. They wait till something happens and they become reactors rather than being proactive. And I feel like it's extremely important to be proactive, to have somewhat of a plan, but to also make room for the creativity of how that's going to unfold. Working with someone who can actually help you have confidence in the decisions that you're making. But first thing I do is I sit down and I do the assessment, like I said, about what the snapshot of where somebody is. I find out where it is they want to go. We maybe have a brainstorming session on what their skills are, what things they've enjoyed, things they absolutely don't want. And then we look at how we can use what they have to move forward in what they want. And then I offer maybe some perspectives they didn't consider, some resources they didn't have, and then we're able to move forward. Okay, you might eliminate some of the pressures too, but what it does is it builds a confidence in them to say, okay, I know that this is the best choice, even if it's not perfect. We're not talking about perfect choices. We're talking about the best choice. We're not talking about being perfect. We're talking about being the best version of you. And we're not competing with anybody else. We're in a race of our own, and we're running our race. Some people, if you saw the story of the tortoise and the hare, some people are going to run faster and some are going to run slower. But it's really not about how fast or slow. It's that you finish. And we want to finish the race, and we want to finish it well. We want to finish it authentically on who we are, based on who we are, and be able to use the gifts that we have. And I think a lot of people waste a lot of what they have. And it's unfortunate because, I tell people I've been able to do everything that I've ever wanted to do so far, just not all at once. And I think people get caught up in those kind of things. I see young mothers with young children, and they're trying to do a career at the same time and all that, and I'm like, stop that. You got to take your values first. So after we do the assessments, we discuss. We do like this values assessment. We talk about what's most important to you. Not what Uncle Dan wants for you, not what your parents wanted for you, not what somebody else or the school that you went to thinks you should have. What's most important to you? And I think most people that's really the biggest obstacle people have, is they really haven't identified what really they care about the most. They've identified what they think they should care about, but they don't identify what they care about. And so that becomes really the springboard to find out what you value. And that way, when I help somebody, I know where they are, I know where they're going, I know what their value system is. So now when we begin to make decisions moving forward, the whole picture changes, because now it's like when they tell me, yeah, I was thinking of doing this, I can remind them and hold them accountable saying, but does this fit the values that you have over here? So for instance, I've had many different things in my life. I got to be in ministry for like 20 years. I was able to raise my 4 children at home. I wanted to be at home. I didn't want someone else to raise my children. Look, I'm not judging someone that wants to do that. But for me, that was the most important thing for me. So I learned how to manage and maybe make money from home and things like that. But then when they got older and my last one was in high school, I went back to school and I discovered some more of my gifts and how to utilize them better. And that was in this arena. And then I was able to start my business, which led to starting the radio show, which led to starting a media company. And before you know it, I'm able to be myself just at a different level. I'm still helping people. I'm just helping more at once. And so I'm just kind of giving you my own testimony to tell you that can happen for you as well. And, with the right way of processing it. And I think that's what people need, is how do I process where I am and where I want to go with who I am or who I want to be. And I think that's where the key starts. You can't really build your life off of just your education or your hard work. But it really has to come down to, what is God's plan for my life? What is his plan? There are testimonies I have here, which I'm going to end the show with, some testimonies. I helped a graphic designer, said that she enjoyed working with me because one of my best attributes was my ability to hear all the factors concerning her, consider the situation, and give clear direction and action steps to relieve the concerns. She said that I was consistently able to do this in her life in many different aspects. Each time, it amazed her how quickly and clearly I could offer an idea that led to a solution for her. And that was an honor to work with her. And I'm only sharing their testimonies. I don't like to talk about myself because I don't really see myself that way. I see it from their eyes. And that's another important thing. I'm trying to see your life through your eyes. A personal trainer wrote that I helped them realize how to let go of the things that they worried about most to help them solve the very problems they were worried about. I helped them bring them into an understanding of going with the flow rather than fighting against the current to see things that they wanted to come to pass. And now they can take that valuable lesson of how they process it into every situation for the rest of their life. That is awesome. I love hearing stuff like that. Now you can see why I enjoy what I'm doing. Another person was an account executive. They said that Lori has helped me beyond words. In my darkest hour, first she helped me realize my priorities, which led me to realize I had no control over them. She gently guided me to find a resolution to my issues by making a written plan to assist with my success. I feel years wiser. I feel more successful and fulfilled about how I implement my plans and strategies every day. Last one was a VP in marketing. She expressed her experience this way. Said, I've been privileged to know Lori. She's been a source of great inspiration, knowledge, and faith. There are not too many people in life who are able to look into your soul, grab the truth, and to push you to become the best part of yourself after realizing those truths. It's hard to relate to people, she said, but Lori's always excelled in that area and is one of the few people I would trust with my future. You'd be hard-pressed to find more qualified, compassionate individual in this line of work. I highly recommend her services. All right, if you want to build an exceptional life. Well, obviously, I would never brag about myself that way. It's just not who I am. I shared those with you, not for me, but if it would help you to think about, where am I? Where do I want to go? Do I really know what I want? Do I know what I care about? And am I able to implement that in a way that my life is fulfilling and that I live in a place of just satisfied knowing that I'm in the right place, that I'm in God's plan for my life? And so that's pretty much it for today. If you want to join me Monday, I'm actually going to come back on Monday and with a new topic to encourage you, to inspire you, to motivate you, and hopefully hold you accountable so that you don't stay where you are, but you move forward. Have yourself a blessed weekend, and remember that we are in it together.